Hi y'all, Savannah here. So I don't know about you, but if you're anything like me, you have probably been at home with your kids for the last couple of weeks, and it's very likely that you might have ran out of ideas of things to do, especially since we can't go anywhere and we can't do as many things as we would otherwise. So I wanted to share with you something that we have been doing at my house. It has been a lot of fun and my kids have absolutely enjoyed, and that is stop motion animation. So all we do is use their existing toys and we just make fun videos with them. So I wanted to show you how you could do that with you and your family as well. So let's get into it. Okay, so stop motion animation is actually super simple and you can use whatever toys you kids have at the house, dolls, stuffed animals, little figurines. Now, I will say those toys that can move and be manipulated are a little bit easier and better to work with, but it doesn't mean that you can't use other things. You can use whatever you want. Now, it is a super simple process, and all I would say is I would put my camera on some kind of steady surface. That'd be the first step. Get a tripod, set it against a wall, I mean, whatever it is, just make sure that it's not constantly moving every time you take a photo, because you don't want your scenes and your backgrounds to be getting wonky looking by having it move around a little bit. So that would be suggestion number one. Just put it on a steady surface. Now, all you're gonna do is simply set up your scene. If you want to create a fun background with your kids, that would be a fun little art project to do. If you want to do a simple, just take it out into the yard and use the yard as your background, whatever you want, that's just up to you. And then you take your toys, you figure out what toys you want to use, and you just gradually move them for every scene. So if you want it to look like a little toy's walking, you might move one leg, take a picture, move the other leg, take a picture, and then, you know, keep going until you go to the next little activity. If you're driving a car, I would just put the car in one part of the photo, take a picture, move it, take a picture. It's so simple, okay? So what I did want to show you, which is a little bit more of the difficult part, is what you're gonna do with all of these photos after the fact in order to make a video. So that's what we're gonna get into. So I wanted to show you the way that I made these videos on my iPhone, and so you can also do them at your house as well. So let's get into it. So I used a Perfect Video app, and I just go in there, press the plus button at the top, and then it's gonna go into your photos, and you're gonna choose whatever photos you wanna use for this project. So you could press for today and it would put in everything you took that day, but if you have other photos you don't want, I just individually added them to mine. And then once you do that, you just press OK, and then you're going to go ahead and adjust your ratios, whatever you want. And then I also adjusted my Ken Burns. You don't want that on, so if it is on, make sure that that is turned off. And you can also adjust every single photo the duration. So I went to 0.1 second for all of my durations, and then you make sure you don't have a transition on. So if it's on, just put them all to none, and you can do all of that for all your photos here. Once you do that, you just press done, and then it's going to go into the editing program. So then I added a title slide by pressing that title button, and then I went in to rearrange it by pressing the rearrange button. I held it down and I moved it to the very beginning of my video so that it would be where I wanted it to be. Once I did that, I edited my title slide by pressing the actual slide and going in and adjusting my duration so it wouldn't be too long. I figured 3 seconds would be good. And then I went ahead and added text. Now you can put in text or images or whatever you like, but text is all I did. It kept it simple. So you go and you write out whatever you want your title to be, and then you have all your different options at the top where these little letters are. So you can change your font, you can change your alignment, the style of your letters, the color, the background. There's so many choices you can do. So you kind of just play around with it until you're happy and you think it works. I didn't really like this one, so I went back into my text on that just by pressing the actual green text box there, and I just changed my font to something I thought was a little bit more Barbie-esque. And then I just made that a little bit bigger by putting my 2 fingers on the screen and just pulling my fingers out to adjust the size. You can make it bigger or smaller as needed. So I wasn't really happy with the fact that it was just kind of a boring title slide. So I went back into my title slide again just by pressing that slide, and I went back into my text and I adjusted it by adding a little bit of a effect to it. You could do an effect or an animation. You have different choices for both of them. And once I was happy, I wanted to add a little bit of audio. So what you do is you're going to go to the project tab and you're going to click on that, and then you can go to the audio, and there is tracks or record or whatever. So what I do is I just go to the exact spot in my video where I think I want to add audio, and I put in a sound effect. So I just kind of listened to what the different sounds were, like the car. And I thought that'd be fun to make it sound like she's beeping at her. So I put that there, and then you just kind of play it and see how it sounds, and you can adjust the length of the audio and exactly where it is by just playing around with that little green box where the audio box is. And after that, I decided that I wanted to add another little sound effect to make it sound like she was actually getting hit by the car. So I just put my movie exactly where I thought that sound should be. And I went back into my audio, I put it into my track 1, and I got another sound effect. And the one I chose for this was the punch sound effect. So I just press it and put it back in there. And again, I did the same thing. I just adjusted the audio to exactly the point where I thought it should be. And the last thing I wanted to do for the sound effects was like give it a little applause at the end, like, yay, she didn't die. So I figured out, like, when she was starting to set up, that would be a good spot. And I just went back again into the sound effects, found the applause sound, and I put it there. So I thought it would also make it a little bit a better video if I added a song to like the whole entire video. So they have a few options on the app that I use, but you could also add in your own songs if you wanted to. So I chose this song and I just put it into my video the same way I did with my sound effects, but instead of doing track 1, I did track 2, so that way I can have them playing at the same time for when the sound effects do come up. And I just made it the entire length of my video. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to save your video. So you're just going to press that little up arrow in the corner, and you're going to press save if you want to save it to your camera roll, and put whatever quality you want, and that's it. So let me go ahead and show you how my video turned out. If you like these types of videos and you would like to see more, go ahead and press that subscribe button. Bye, y'all.